Welcome to After the Show, your weekly movie podcast brought to you by A. Scully and Sid Talk. We're addicted to movies. Are you? Hello, everybody. Welcome to After the Show. Hello, Sid Talk. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine.
Very good, very good.
Oh, sorry. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
I think people get an attitude with me when I answer the phone at work and they go, "Hi, how are you today?" And I'll go, "I'm fine." And then I wait. And I'm supposed to ask them how they are, but I don't care.
I don't want to get into idle chit chat.
Yeah. What did you call me for?
Exactly. Get to the point,
yes.
mother effer.
Maybe people don't know this. I take help desk calls at my job. That's not my job. It's a sideline job after hours for them, but it's not my chosen profession.
All right.
That's not the before the after the show discussion. That was just this movie and the John Wick world, essentially.
So it's Saturday, June the 24th. This is After the Show. We're a movie review podcast. And on episode 793, we're looking at the movie John Wick Chapter 4. It's a 2023 movie released on 4K and Blu-ray and streaming now, rated R, from our friends at Lionsgate. I made a joke up while I was looking at this movie. Do you want to know the joke?
I do know it, and I was really hoping you'd forgotten about it.
The joke is, if John Wick wants to look something up, which website does he use? Wikipedia. That's all I've got for you.
But then I pointed out to you, if it's Wikipedia, as in John Wikipedia, then all he's looking up is about himself.
Exactly.
That part is the funny part.
It's his own.
And also, I can't imagine him on a computer, like one finger typing.
No.
Well, how many people did I kill when my dog got murdered? One letter at a time.
Exactly. All right. So John Wick Chapter 4, the latest in the John Wick series, obviously. Sid Talk, give us the synopsis.
No, it's John Wick. It's John Wick. He's pissed off about something and a bunch of people die and lots of action. There's a thing. There's a big organization and a bad guy and lots of bad guys. And it's John Wick. Why would we give a synopsis?
Here's the actual synopsis off the box. John Wick uncovers a path to defeating the High Table. But before he can earn his freedom, he must face off against a new enemy with powerful alliances across the globe that forces old friends into foes.
John Wick, bad guy, lots of people.
And it's the fourth time he's done it.
We got it.
Yeah.
We got it.
John Wick Chapter 4. We've seen all the John Wick movies now. What did you think?
Of all the movies or this one?
I mean, we've seen them all, so we know
everything there is to know. I like the John Wick universe. You haven't listened to a lot of our podcasts, so I will tell you now, I'm not into like fight scenes, car chases, or sort of like generic, boring action sequences. Okay, so put that over there. John Wick, whoever puts all this together, keeps me on board. Like I'm all in on all the. I mean, it gets a little bit monotonous after about like 5 minutes or 6, because they go on quite a long time.
Well, unlucky for you, because some of the scenes go on for 30 minutes.
Right, but those, surprisingly, because they're visually interesting.
Yes.
And I'm like, whoa. And I said, this is one thing I said a lot during this movie. Holy shit. Like a lot. Like, or, oh my God. Or, oh crap. Or like, just, damn, that had to hurt. Right? So there's a lot of that.
It's very violent.
I actually, yeah, that's true. And to say that I enjoyed it sounds a bit sick, but it's choreographed. And so it doesn't look like if I walked out in the street and there were a bunch of people fighting, I wouldn't be entertained by that. This is choreographed. These are professional stunt people and Keanu Reeves doing his own stunts. And it's enjoyable to see the relentlessness of it, right? So I enjoyed that. I didn't love the car chase, getting to the part where they're going around the roundabout and everybody's getting hit by cars. That part I didn't mind, but I enjoyed it. I like the John Wick world, like I said. I don't fully understand this particular segment where we're fighting against this marquee guy. So we've got a guy.
Yeah, we dropped a new guy in.
I mean, it's Pennywise, just so everyone knows. He's called the Marquis. You reassured me that he's never been mentioned before, but I wonder if somebody in one sentence at some point throughout the...
I looked it up in the John Wick Wikipedia, and no, he's new for this installment.
You and Keanu looking that shit up.
Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly.
Okay, so he's never been mentioned, and now he's like the guy. But what we have in the John Wick universe is a table of 12. They're called the table. There's 12 crime lord rulers, whatever they are. They run the world, essentially. Like the crime, gritty, ugly side of the world that makes shit happen. And this guy works for them? I mean, we have no explanation.
It's unclear, really, isn't it?
He's mentioned his father or something, so they must have him in place, the Marquis. They have very strict rules, this table and this organization. So they have like the Harbinger, they have the Adjudicator, they have rules, they have these chain of hotels where it's all about the secret spy shit and the murderers and all that stuff, right? And so this guy, all of a sudden, we're introduced to him, and he's just sort of like a dick with a lot of money, right? I mean, he's just being a jerk. He's very smooth. I mean, I like him. The character's really well done, and I like him, but...
It's a mustache-twirling villain, though.
It is. It's just that also I need more information about why do we need to bring him down other than he did kill our concierge, which was really shitty. And he seems like he's going to make bad things happen for John Wick, but everyone does. So I had to really just put that out of my mind. Like, this guy isn't the guy who killed the dog. He's not the guy who caused his wife to die. He's not the guy who killed anybody else he cared about along the way that I'm aware of. And yet now he's the focus. Instead of us skipping him and going to the 12 people at the table, even John Wick said, I'm going to kill them all. That would make sense to me. He's going to go around the world, eliminate these 12 people one at a time.
He did say that and then didn't live up to his end of the bargain.
Nothing like that happened. It didn't even allude to that being a thing, like they're inaccessible, anything like that. So I really enjoyed it, but I had to get my head around, like, this bad guy seems threatening, but he's also a bit of a coward, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, how it happens. And then everything else along the way, other than the German guy with the gold teeth, which I felt like it was so cheap and gross and terrible, was just, like, fascinating to watch and entertaining and, like, you know, lots of ways to kill people.
There's several set pieces in this movie. In fact, how many is there? There's maybe 5?
5, more than that, I think.
And they're really big, like, and when something's about to happen, that it's going to be a big thing, and it's going to look cool, and it's probably going to last a long time.
Yeah.
Because this movie is quite long. It's 2 hours and 49 minutes, the longest John Wick movie. Do you know what? It didn't feel like 2 hours and 49 minutes.
It did, because we took 3 pee breaks.
Yeah, but it was kind of brisk for me, like it just breezed by, because the action sequences, it's like watching people dancing with a lot of blood.
True.
This one gets crazy, doesn't it? It has like samurai swords.
Nunchucks.
Oh, God. Yes.
Yeah.
It has pretty much all the blunt weapons and all the knives and every gun you can imagine, including that crazy dragon's breath shotgun, which there's a scene in this movie which really tickled me because it's a video game scene, basically, where I don't think you'd even noticed it had happened, right? Because it's so seamless the way they did it.
I mean, I noticed we were looking down.
They walk into this building, though, and then it's just a regular scene. And then all of a sudden, the camera goes up over the top, like, so it looks like old Grand Theft Auto. John Wick is just murdering everybody with this shotgun, but from above, looks like a video game. The directors mentioned that he was inspired by a video game. It was an awesome scene. Cinematography is second to none in this whole thing, right?
I don't know about second to none. That's a very brave statement, but it is gorgeous to look at.
Yeah. I say second to none, and I stand with it.
Second to none doesn't actually mean anything when you think about it.
Well, if there was nothing.
So if you're second to none, you're first.
Yeah, exactly. That is it.
That's what I'm saying.
The cinematography is first class.
I don't think that's accurate because there are many movies that are going to look a lot more gorgeous than this, but it's like eye candy.
And every scene is like lit, not realistically, just lit to make it look cool. Gorgeous
lighting, gorgeous photography.
I mean, it doesn't even matter if it makes sense.
Correct.
Because you're in a nightclub with waterfalls and lighting, and it looks insane, and you're like, why don't things look like that in real life? Well, it's probably not very practical, but it looks awesome in a movie.
It might exist. We don't know.
I don't know about
Somebody might go into that club and be like, oh yeah, we're putting this in a movie.
I feel like it'd smell bad after a while.
That's what I thought. It seemed like moldy water.
Let's go into spoiler territory. We'll talk about the ending of the movie and the end part.
Noted.
So if you've not seen it, go and see it, come back, and then we'll talk about it. Anyway, this feels like the wind down of John Wick, right?
Mm-hmm.
I read an interview with the director, and he said, over the 4 movies, every idea he's ever thought of that he wanted John Wick to do, he's done it all. They're all in these 4 movies.
Right on.
So he feels like this was a good place to end the movies. So what happens at the end? Explain.
John Wick dies.
But does he?
Was that the spoiler you wanted?
Yeah, that's the spoiler. I mean, he dies. The way the film presents it to you, he's dead, right?
I'm not even skeptical about that.
I was very skeptical because of how sequels work.
Because a song comes to mind from an animated movie. It's called Let It Go, Let It Go. Just let it go. Let him die and let's move on. Because you know what I say about this stuff where we just want more. You know what? John Wick didn't exist. And the world was fine. And then it came along. And now it's time to make up something new. If this director and writer is good at this story, let's let him do some other good stuff.
This director's an interesting director because he was actually a stuntman on action movies. He's so into the stunt world.
Totally.
He hooked up with Keanu and said, how can I direct a film that uses my stunt skills? And that's where John Wick came from. So this guy has now made 4 movies with all the stunts you could possibly imagine. I mean, the stunts are amazing, right? Even when people fall off things, it's just a ballet of, like, people.
Yeah, we even have, at one point, a blind man who is fighting and shooting. And then we have them fighting and shooting. What was the one thing I was like, wow, somebody at a meeting. Oh, the nunchucks was one of those where I thought at a meeting somebody probably said, nunchucks, they're not that interesting. Well, they made them very interesting. Where was the one place I was like, yeah, we haven't ever seen that. Well, the stairs, going up the stairs, like the gauntlet.
That was very cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you notice there wasn't a ton of women in this movie? Like, not even hench women.
I did, actually.
Yeah, why? Because if you're going to have henchmen, which are the people who just come at him relentlessly.
There were a few.
Not many, though.
No.
I was like, well, wouldn't you have, like, some of each? Because...
I mean, you need to call him and ask him.
Or maybe there's
if he's listening to this, would you please let Ace Scully know why there weren't a lot of women being murdered on the streets by John Wick? Is that what you're looking for?
Maybe it's the thing where he's like, well, when you look at the stunt industry, it's 80% male.
Also, let's just go pure sexist here, me being the sexist one. And let's say women might not dabble quite so much in the world where you might get $16 million for murdering another human being. Women might be like, you know what? I'm out.
Oh, speaking of that.
So that's me being sexist and saying maybe mostly if they did a survey around the planet, how many hitmen, mercenaries and assassins are men versus women. Maybe they did that statistic and they came from that.
The women in this movie are the ladies in the receptionist room.
Mm-hmm. And we have the daughter and we have
the DJ lady.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not people who get involved in any action. Well, the daughter is.
Mm-hmm.
And she's really good.
She's very good.
So, yeah, it all builds up to this finale, which I found, I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought it was going to go the opposite way to what it did. I liked how it went because it was kind of a weird twist on the rules. Because there's rules, isn't there, to this whole thing.
We end up with a duel. Like, you stand with your backs to each other, you walk 30 paces at sunrise. We've all seen Western movies. We all know about Gunsmoke, and then you turn around and then you shoot and you kill each other. One of you kills the other.
Yes.
That's what we end on with John Wick and his friend, but the friend needs to kill him for personal reasons. So that's where we stand. But there are very strict rules that both people have to shoot every time. And then that's what we got hung up on, a technicality.
Yeah.
The
basically.
Marquis was not paying attention.
And being a cocky little shit.
He was, but I liked him, though. I mean, I disliked him, but I liked how he did him. That's what I'm throwing.
So it was quite a satisfying conclusion. I really liked it. I didn't expect it to go the way it did. And then when John Wick died, I was like, wow, they really did it.
No, you didn't. You said, I don't think he's dead.
Yeah, and then I thought, well, I'll wait till the credits are over, and then I'll make my personal mind up. And then the credits were over, and then I was like, no, I think he's actually dead.
Do you still? Because you were still questioning.
They didn't have his zombie hand come out of the ground, or him sat like in the Bahamas on a sun lounger drinking a beer.
With the guy with the red stapler from Office Space?
Exactly.
That would have been great.
At the end of John Wick 4 and at the end of the credits, from everything that is told to you, John Wick is dead. But I'm still not convinced 100%. So
okay.
Let's get on to the cast. Keanu Reeves returns as John Wick. I said to you while watching him, when his first line came out of his mouth, I said, there's not much of a line between that John Wick and Bill and Ted. It's like 1 inch to the left. Also,
the other inch to the other direction is Neo.
Yeah. Or the doctor from While You Were Sleeping.
Oh, God.
It's all pretty much the same.
Or the boyfriend from, what's it called? My Last November, or Meet You in November, or something like that.
That's the one I'm thinking of, actually.
Oh, right.
It's not While You Were Sleeping, is it? It's the November one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think as John Wick goes, sometimes it makes me laugh when he delivers a line, because it's kind of silly.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable.
But it fits, doesn't it, with the John Wick thing?
He's not a talkative guy.
No, he doesn't say much in this movie, really, does he?
Nope. I think it'd be funny. If we're doing body count, we should do word count, because I don't think John Wick says a whole lot. He goes, yeah. He goes, Kane. Every time Kane talks to him, he does say says, John, Kane. And then that, or yeah. So that's me being Keanu.
I do like him, though, because
I do too.
The stunts and the personality he has, and he's got a screen thing about him where you're like, Keanu's just a badass. So, yeah, Keanu, really liked him. Lawrence Fishburne returns as Lowry King. What do you think of Lawrence?
He was more lively. I'll give him that.
Yeah. It was funny at the beginning where he was walking into the room.
Yeah, saying like a big preachery thing.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. I mean, he doesn't get a lot of screen time, but he is not as much as he used to in this series. But he's still alive and he's still good. Rest in peace, Lance Reddick. That's hard to say. Plays Charon. What do you think of Lance?
He's always got like a thing, like he's the classy, grounded, reasonable one. Yeah. He plays the concierge at one of the Continental hotels. Therefore, he's sort of like Mr. Fix-It. So obviously anything that goes wrong or anything that goes bad, he makes sure everything gets taken care of. He makes sure everybody has all their weapons and all the rules are followed. And in this one, Pennywise is a jerk and takes him down.
They put his name in the credits at the end. It's dedicated to him, the film. So Ian McShane plays Winston. I love Ian McShane. I can watch him all the time.
I mean, you didn't clarify. The actor passed away right after the movie.
That's why I said rest in peace.
Right, but also the character we were talking about.
The character passed away and the man passed away.
The real person passed away.
Yes. Ian McShane, who I love, American Gods. If you've not seen it, go and watch it. He's awesome in it. He's pretty similar to what he is in this, right?
I feel like you need a primer for American Gods. It's not for everyone.
I loved it.
I do too. Oh, I love it. I'm just saying, just to tell people to go watch it. It's
a good Ian McShane performance.
It's a lot. Yeah. And Ian McShane grows on me when he wasn't mumbling. So a lot of times he mumbles and I can't understand him. But this time he was quite clear. So
yeah. Okay. What does he mumble in?
I don't know.
Clancy Brown, one of your favorites, plays Harbinger.
Clancy's just everywhere. You know why? Because I watched Phineas and Ferb, which is a Nickelodeon?
Yes.
Or Disney?
Nickelodeon.
Cartoon for many years. And I'm an adult and I still watched it. I think I watched it on Netflix even. So he shows up in there a lot. He has shown in many other animated shows, and when I hear his voice, or in a video game, he's in a lot of video games, and I'm just like, Clancy! So today he showed up, and I'm like, Clancy!
We've got Bill Skarsgård as Marquis. What do you think of Bill?
I think he's really good, because I'm convinced that he's a cocky mofo with so much money and a sweet tooth. See, we didn't address that either. I was like, okay, so we open with meeting him, and we know he's imposing. He does the deed, and he kills our guy who we like. In the meantime, he's making him a little cup of cappuccino, and he adds a whole bunch of sugar, drinks it. Then the next time we meet him is in this gallery of like gold lights and shit, like in a castle. And he's got a table laid out in front of him full of desserts just for him. And he's eating like a piece of what looks like amazing dessert. Yes, I focus on the food. You show me food in a movie, I'm going to be like, ooh, food. Whatever's going on, I want to see what you're eating, right? He's eating this pie thing. And I thought somebody might say to him, you really have a sweet tooth. And then that might be how we dispose of him, right?
He falls in a vat of sugar.
We'll poison some sugar or put arsenic that looks like sugar in his sugar. Something. I mean, I know that sounds like boring, but then they just let it go. I need to write to this writer guy and tell him, like, you missed a trick, man.
Yeah,
but I liked him.
They were trying to set something up with the sweet thing, weren't they?
But they didn't.
Yeah. But, yeah, I did like him. He was just a real twat that you wanted to punch. That's how it's come across to me. Donnie Yen plays Kane. Kane. What do you think of Kane?
Oh, he was good.
Donnie Yen's like a supreme martial artist. He's in many, like, karate movies.
Okay.
So he does his own stunts here, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a blind guy. He actually played a blind swordsman in a...
I mean, he actually is blind in real life?
In real life, he is not.
Okay.
But one of his major roles was him playing this blind swordsman back in the day. So I think they might have been tributing that or something here. Because this guy is a blind guy. He's called Kane. Blind Kane. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, no, I didn't get that.
I loved
It's like your joke. I just like, I got it.
He's blind, but he's also just a major... He's as good as John Wick is.
Oh, yeah.
If not better, because he's blind. But that part where he used the doorbell...
Yeah.
He has these like wireless doorbells in his pocket that he like magnets onto this wall. And they're sensitive, so when you walk past them, they make
motion sensitive, yeah.
And that whole scene with the people walking and it going ding dong and him just like slicing them, so good. That's what this movie does well, inventive scenes, you know. And then we've got Rina Sawamana as Akira, and she's the daughter who was this awesome assassin, but she wasn't used very much, was she?
Mm-mm.
She was in a good scene where she fought.
Well, she's not an assassin. She's the concierge at the Osaka.
With the outfit that she wears, she's clearly seen some action before, right?
Well, her father is the manager of that hotel, and so he's probably raised her to protect herself.
Yeah. And directed by Chad Stahelski. He's a stuntman, so he's directed the John Wick movies, but no other movies. What do you think of his directing?
I have to say, because of the direction and because of the action choreography and the look of the photography, which I feel like he's probably got his vision and kind of makes it all happen.
Yeah.
I say it's really good.
Yeah. Even the way it opens with on the horseback in the desert with a shooting, basically like a car chase with horses. It's awesome.
You mean a horse chase?
Horse chase. They did use a horse in the last movie down the streets of the city, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Where he was on the back of one. Yeah, that's the direction. IMDb reviews, what are those?
Well, there's a website called IMDb, Internet Movie Database, and you like to read the 1-star reviews because they're kind of funny.
They are. So these are the people that gave John Wick Chapter 4 1 star. And the first guy says, this was like watching a video game for 3 hours straight. I like action movies and don't mind the plot holes, but this had no humor and I just wanted to die.
Oh my, that is very severe.
The second guy says, repetitive and boring as fuck.
Oh my. Can you swear on IMDb?
Repetitive action and lacks story. The end.
Okay, I'm not going to disagree with the lack of story because I feel like the Marquis and that story and bringing John Wick to an end, it could have been more personal, and it wasn't. But hey.
And the final guy says, this is the worst Wick ever. Where do I start? After fighting and killing about 400 blokes, He gets run over by a bus and a car and gets thrown out of a third-story window into a van and gets thrown down 300 concrete steps and then gets up and carries on like nothing happened. It's insulting my intelligence to watch this. On top of that, there's a blind man fighting 100-plus assailants and he never gets stabbed, shot, or even knocked out. Who writes this nonsense? I mean, everything he says there is true.
Absolutely true, yeah. It's fiction. It's fiction. Let's just remember, it's fiction. So you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. They're like superheroes. It's no different to like... I know it's supposed to be they're just regular people with special skills. But the amount of abuse they take, at some point, you've just got to go, okay, they're like superheroes. I mean, John Wick himself. There's something about him that he's just so skilled, you can't hit him. The same with the blind guy.
Well, don't forget, we have suits, like a regular suit jacket and pants that are bulletproof. They're all Kevlar, but they just are a normal suit. So that really saves you a lot of the... Because when he lifts his little lapel up over his face to protect himself from bullets, I find that hilarious.
He does that quite a lot in this one. Yeah, just a tiny little piece of material. And
like some of the thugs who come after him have the bulletproof suits and some of them don't. So you're like, oh, those are the cheap thugs and these are the more pricey thugs.
And the more pricey thugs don't seem to understand how to use the suit like he does.
Correct.
They don't do the little lift
said,
up.
Why don't they have neck armor? Because the neck is always your weakest spot. You can get it sliced, you can get it jabbed, you can get stabbed with a pencil, you can get it shot at. Just get a neck guard.
Exactly.
Maybe I should start a business for the underworld of crime and be like, I've invented this Kevlar neck brace for you.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
All right, so let's give John Wick Chapter 4 a score. I'm not going to give it 4 because it's number 4. But I am going to give John Wick Chapter 4 an 8 out of 10.
Oh, my. I'm giving it a 7.8. So there you go. For what it is.
Yeah.
It's the best of the John Wicks. And I don't mean the best of the John Wick movies. I mean, John Wick is the best of what John Wick has to offer.
It's the most series. John Wickest of movies. Yeah.
The series is all I mean, I just feel like it's a good consumable of entertainment. Is that a way to say it?
Yes.
But you can't hate violence, you know?
If you don't like people getting shot and stabbed and...
fictional violence is...
you might not like it.
The hallmark of this whole world.
And
right. We know it isn't real. Like, people aren't really getting stabbed and stuff. So we're okay with the pretend violence.
All right. So thank you to Lionsgate. Next week, we're going to look at Fast X, which is the 10th Fast and the Furious movie. And you know why I put that in for next week? Because it's nearly my birthday, and that'll be my birthday treat to watch Fast X.
Well, then I can't complain about it.
It definitely is a...
don't say it, because you don't have... You just like it.
It's a pleasure for me, but...
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. I like John Wick movies, and John...
Even I will admit that it is totally stupid, but there's something about the action and the fun I like. I like
the video for In the Club. You know what I'm saying?
You find me in the club.
Yes. I have no explanation whatsoever. I just feel like I like it. Fuck off, everybody, if you don't like it. Oh, there's the F word again. We're going to get tagged or something. I
liked it when in this movie where the Donnie Yen, the blind guy, when he said to him, and he just looked at him and went, fuck off.
Yeah, when the bad guy's trying to be intimidating to him, like, don't forget your daughter. He's got like a French accent. Don't forget your daughter. And he's like, fuck off.
It's so funny.
Because he's over it, right? He's done with this bad guy trying to intimidate him. That was good.
I did like that move. So movie recommendations. I am going with a Keanu Reeves movie that I love, The Matrix. I like all the Matrix movies, but the first Matrix is where it's at. And my second one, I was thinking of like another movie like made by a stuntman, and there was a lot of stuntman influence in it. And it's the movie Wanted with Angelina Jolie. Do you remember that one?
I do.
Where you can bend the bullets around corners. It's a really interesting concept. I don't think it was 100% like good, but I really enjoyed the concept of it.
So it's not 100% good, so it has to be less than good.
Yeah.
What's less than good?
I don't think it was 100% executed well. But it is a really interesting movie. I don't know how well that will have aged. Maybe it's really cheesy now.
Is it up there with Peppermint? And there were 3 like female, not assassin, but they're like assassin revenge type things, right?
Yeah, but Wanted had that like weird supernatural, like they can make the bullets go around corners and stuff. like the Force or something.
I don't remember that.
It was very weird.
I remember the movie-ish, but
yeah, and slow down bullets as well. Yeah, those are mine. The Matrix and Wanted.
Right. So that means you want mine. Oh, where did my browser go?
I'm Wanted yours.
I'm sorry. I accidentally laughed. I'm not laughing at your jokes.
Nice.
In the absence of humor, I will laugh. How's that? So I am going back through the 21st or beginning of the 21st century, which is the now. And I'm up to 2014, and it's all science fiction. So my whole year of 2023, I'm going back to from 2000 till whenever this ends, which will be the end of this year. I'm up to 2014 with Transcendence. Not great. And then Circle, also not great. That's 2015. That's the one where there's a circle of people, and between them, they have to decide who gets to live.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Like Cube, but not really, right? Cube was just like, you're just going to die or live, and that was it, right? There didn't seem to be a reason for any of it. Humans, can you believe this was 2015? The television show Humans.
Oh, yeah, that got cancelled. I forgot about that one.
I mean, 2015, man, 7 years has disappeared of this life. It seems like, what? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And then also 2015, Turbo Kid.
Love Turbo Kid.
That was great. That was really, really,
Turbo
really good.
Kid's a real independent, small, tiny kind of horror movie.
It's kind of like comedy Mad Max-ish.
Yes.
You know?
With some gore like Evil Dead.
And going back to Humans, because we had a little android lady in there. And then I have one called Infinity, and it's from 2015, and I'd forgotten what it was. I rewatched the trailer. I still didn't remember it fully, but I kind of sort of remembered it. It was one of those where they go to a place and there's been a contagion and it makes everybody freak out. And then they're going to have to save a guy who might have the contagion. The movie that I deleted from the list was also one about they uncovered a big chunk of ice in a spacecraft that had crashed, and it had a contagion like an alien. You know what I'm saying? So 2015 they were hot on the trail of that trope. And that's it. That's all.
All right, so A Scully stuff. I've been playing Final Fantasy 16, but I won't discuss it until I've played more of it. You know what I'm saying? I need to play. I've played maybe 8 hours. No, probably less than that. But I want to talk about it in depth when I've played more of it. But what I have played this week is a game that I got sent for review called Spaceborne 2, and it's on Steam. And what this is there's a game that's coming out from Microsoft later this year called Starfield that people are raving about. It's promised as you're an explorer in space and you can go anywhere you want, explore anything, do anything. We've been stung on those type of games in the past, right?
Yeah. Yes.
You know, people big them up, they come out and you're like, no, you can't really do anything.
They oversell it.
It kind of feels like you can do anything, but then when you try and do anything, it doesn't seem to work out. That game's called Starfield, and it's like a multi-million-dollar thing that Microsoft are going to be bringing out later this year. Well, this is like an indie version of that. It's called Spaceborne 2. And you start off as a recruit, and you're on this planet. You create your character. You get in your spaceship. You fly off the planet, and then you can go wherever you want. There's a universe, you've got a spaceship. It's like a basic one to start with. You fly anywhere you want. Like I flew out of the planet. I was flying around in space and I saw this like distress beacon, went towards it. I rescued this lady. I got some money. I got to upgrade my craft. But then it seems like the whole universe is ahead of you and you can get out of your ship.
Okay, interruption here. It's not.
No, I know it isn't. That's why I prefaced it. But
yeah,
I did play a bunch of it, and what is different about this one from other ones I've played is No Man's Sky, for instance. When you're exploring the universe, you get to a planet, you get out of your ship, you wander around, you take photos, you do whatever you're doing. In this one, you can actually get out of your ship in space, and you've got jetpack on. If you want to investigate a little asteroid that's floating, it looks like it has something on it. You can get out of your ship, go and float, and go and get it. That adds a little bit of difference to it because instead of docking with the space station, which I wasn't quite sure how you docked, I just left my ship floating, jumped out of the ship, and just headed towards the space station on foot, basically, and went inside and did some shopping and stuff. It's an indie game, so don't expect like polished, because it is not polished. It's really janky. But it is quite fun. And I only did some of the tutorial missions, basically, like the few missions that they give you at the beginning to learn how to play it. But it looks like one of those games that really suck some hours away from you. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'd just be like, oh, I wonder what I can do next.
Oh, no, not me. I don't understand that at all.
Yeah,
this is from a person
totally
who plays The Sims, City Skylines, SimCity, and Solitaire. And, listen to all them. They're all...
yeah.
Those are... And I don't play, except for Solitaire. I just build stuff. And so, yeah, I can have whole days disappear. And
I could see this Spaceborne too. And I see on Steam, it's just recently come out of early access, and I see on Steam it's really high up in the charts. People are playing it a lot. So Spaceborne 2, just a small team made it, but it is a really ambitious thing. Sid Talk, what's for dinner?
Tonight will be baked beans and toasted bagels, or you can have regular boring toast if you want. So in Britain, in England, we'll say there's a thing called beans on toast. It's literally a can of baked beans
on toast.
And you make some toast, and then you put some on there. Like you put the beans on the toast. But I have bagels, so I'm going to have bagel in that. And then I boiled up the potatoes that I grew from another potato. It's a small handful, but still, I grew them.
Well, we're having them boiled.
Yeah, they're just boiled. They're going to have butter and salt.
All right.
It's fancy stuff. So if you don't know why I'm telling you this, we're vegetarian, and we still get shit from people all the time. Oh, I can never, whatever. And, how can you live without bacon? Which I find hilarious. But we're not animal rights activists. We're not into, like, telling anyone else what to eat. I don't care. And I've said it many times. You can eat your own foot if you want to. I don't recommend it. But if that's what you want to do, it's your body.
Exactly.
As long as it's your foot and not some unsuspecting person, then I don't really care. It's just that we did it 2009. That's how long it's been. And then we tell people, if you want to ask me, well, what do you eat? Oh, there's nothing to eat. Well, we're having beans on toast. There you go.
So what's your advice? And let's get out of here.
My advice is not advice. It's just a reminder that achievement doesn't buy a license for bad behavior. So let's say it again. Achievement, as in you've achieved something, you've accomplished something, you've cured a disease, you've helped the economy, you have saved 1 million babies from a disease, whatever it is, right? You've achieved a thing, or you've cleaned your house and you've made a good pie, or whatever it is that you've done that's good and valuable and productive. That is not you paying for the privilege of being an asshole. So I don't care if you're a billionaire who gives money to the poor. That doesn't buy you the opportunity to be a jerk. If you think it does, if you're still doing good in the world, it's not going to cancel it out. But come on. Why does the world seem to think that, well, he was a really good coach. Like, he got him to the championship. Oh, but then you find out he's a complete asshole to everybody. He makes everybody feel like shit, abuses everybody verbally, doesn't care about them at all, right? Just wants to get to the championship. But he won the championship. Yay. Right? That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And if that means that doesn't get done because someone's not going to be treating other people terribly or causing harm to achieve it, okay. Maybe we don't need the championship, right? Maybe we don't need the biggest building in the world if you don't give a shit that 50 people are going to die in the process of building it because of deadlines and shoddy workmanship and skirting around the rules of safety. But I'm going to build the biggest building in the world. Screw everybody else, right? No, it doesn't buy you the opportunity to behave badly. The end. I have said, I have spoken. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
All right, thank you. If you want to go to ascully.com, you can get this podcast. You can also catch our views on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Do you have any views on those places?
You mean images on Instagram?
Views, like your views, personal views. Do you publicize them?
I publish a lot of garden pictures on my Instagram, so if you want to find me on Instagram, go for it.
Exactly.
CIDTALK, and you can. But if you follow me, I might delete you. I'm not into the weird followers. I get dozens every day. I just delete everybody. So you might want to send me a comment that says, hey, I listened to your podcast. Otherwise, I will delete you.
You can go to Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, YouTube, where this podcast is. You can email feedback to me, ascully@ascully.com. Don't email Sid Talk. And finally, stay classy, Mr. John Wick. I guarantee you is going to be back at some point.
Listen to you. Talking big. And I'm going to say, think for yourself or someone's doing it for you.